Is Raila Odinga's support at the coast still intact? That's the question which most Kenyans have been asking of late. Because you all know, if there's one region which has always stood firm with Raila Odinga, then it is the coastal region. But a lot of things were changing. Number one, there was this Amason Kingi factor and the need or the push for a coast-based political party. Truth be said, Amason Kingi might not have a lot of influence, but he was considered to be one of Raila Odinga's close ally. So the fact that he was leaving ODM, forming his own political party, and probably directing that party to another faction was going to create a perceptional issue that Raila Odinga was losing the coastal region. Number two, there is the determination by William Samoei Ruto to gain grounds at the coastal region. Anybody who followed Jubilee politics in the last election, when it came to coastal region, the person who was tasked with delivering the votes to Jubilee was none other than the Deputy President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto. So immediately after the last election, William Ruto decided that he was going to venture into coast politics. So he began by poaching some of the vocal and key allies of Raila Odinga from the region. One of them was Aisha Jumwa, later on Jicho Pevu, and you can even talk of people like Hassan Omar, actually even before the election. So Amason Kingi decided that for him, he was going to form his own political party. And then he was going to push that party as a coast-based political party. What informed Kingi's choice, in my view, has always remained that Kingi was not comfortable with Hassan Joho. He feels that he's more educated. He also feels that he's more Mijikenda and therefore deserves to be the leader of the coastal region, while Raila Odinga was favoring Ali Hassan Joho, being Joho is the governor for Mombasa and also one of the ODM deputy party leaders. So just the other day, Kingi and his political party, the Pan African Alliance, announced that they were going to attend the Azimio la Umoja meeting in Nairobi. As a matter of fact, I campaigned in Kilifi for 1 month during the Malindi by-election. Is it Malindi? Yes. And during that time, I made a lot of friends na watu wa Kingi. And I observed whatever they were posting. People like Mule Yule Mze, Mule Yule Mze, Nyundo, the youth leader there. I followed their post. They were going to come for the Azimio la Umoja meeting. But I never saw them there. So I asked myself several questions. What happened to the story that Kingi was going to join the Azimio la Umoja? So he didn't. But yesterday, Kingi and his party made it very clear that they are going to support Raila Odinga for the presidency in 2022. But they're putting some demands which cannot be met. I can just assure them, those demands cannot be met. They are saying that ODM should not field candidates in Kilifi from governor, senator, women rep, MPs, MCS. Kilifi is considered to be ODM home number 1. That's the only county in this country which voted 6 Ps from MCA to governor. ODM cannot allow that to happen. And already, the Secretary General Edwin Sifuna has confirmed that indeed, so far there is no talk between them and Amason Kingi, which confirms one thing, that Amason Kingi is actually surrendering. And that's the good news for Raila Amolo Odinga. So in this video, I want us to look at why Raila Odinga is actually excited by the move by Kingi to surrender. But before we do that, if you're watching this channel for the first time, I want you to take a second or two and click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue. Thank you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Now, let us get back now to the main issue. Why is Raila Odinga excited about Amason Kingi's move to support him? In my view, is because of the following. Number one, it confirms that Raila Amolo Odinga still remains the preferred candidate in the coastal region. You know, when Kingi formed his party, his main target was Kilifi first, then spread it. That was his objective. The mere fact that he's surrendering confirms that indeed the ground, if he listens to the ground carefully, the ground is telling him that for here, the person we are going to support is none other than Raila Amolo Odinga. So if you want us to follow you in your party, please start preaching the gospel of Raila Amolo Odinga. I've been watching a lot of politics, by the way, from Kilifi, because I have a lot of interest in Kilifi. For several reasons. Number one, I normally regard Kingi so highly. I don't know why. Number two, the fact that Kilifi has very serious politicians. Even in ODM, there are very serious politicians from Kilifi. If you go to their MCS, very solid. And whenever they are attending public events, you enjoy them doing their politics. So I was listening to they were somewhere in some event, the aspirants, and most of them were vying on Kingi's party. And they were passing some message to the ground why they needed to support the coast-based political party. It made sense. But the fact that Kingi is now surrendering, because the fact that Kingi is saying that he's going to support Raila Odinga, and ODM has not even reached out to him, it means he has already surrendered. It just confirms that Raila Odinga still remains the preferred presidential candidate in the entire coastal region, and in Kilifi in particular. So that's number one. Number two, it's going to add what I normally refer to as perceptual value, again to Raila. You know, there was that perception that Raila Odinga was losing grip of the coast. But I've been observing something of late. You know, after the Msambweni by-election, William Ruto, the Tangatanga brigades were really excited. They were moving. But if you follow the politics of UDA in the coastal region, probably they are very active in Mombasa, maybe because of Hassan Omar. But even in Mombasa, if you observe keenly, you'll realize that people like Jichopevu are not into it the way they used to be. Of course, they attend some events, yeah, but they are no longer actively involved in Tangatanga activities. You go to Kilifi, Aisha Jomwa. Where's Aisha Jomwa, by the way? Apart from seeing her in rallies in Central, you don't see Aisha Jomwa on the ground. So it's going to create the perception that Raila Odinga is still the king. Because if Kingi was not there, Aisha is not there, like in Kilifi, you'd say two key allies of Raila Odinga are not there, and they're not supporting Raila. Then why should someone else support Raila? But now Kingi is telling them that for us, we are going to stick with Raila Odinga. He's the best choice. The only thing we want from him is for him to give us the free hand to sponsor candidates in Kilifi, which is not going to happen. But again, that's a bargaining technique. Probably what Kingi wants is that should ODM agree to work with them, then he would not want a situation where Raila goes to the ground to the campaign his members. So it's that perceptual value it's going to add to Raila that indeed he's still the king at the coast. Number three, it's also a propaganda tool. You know, depending on how you're looking at it, a good politician can actually destroy Kingi through that. What Kingi has done is basically surrender. Although surrender tactics is normally used in politics to when you realize you've been pushed so much to the corner, so you surrender, then you'll be allowed space, then you can re-strategize. I think it can be a good propaganda tool for those like ODM. If you listen to Sifuna's response to Kingi, was saying, for us, we have not initiated any talks. So basically, they are throwing the ball back to Kingi, so that if Kingi wants a talk, then it can go to that talk. But the mere fact that he has surrendered means that if there were to be any future engagement with him, it will be at a different level. For example, Raila is saying in Nyanza, he's not going to enter into any coalition with any party. Probably in Coast, he's also not going to do that. The other day, yesterday, there was the defectors from Ford Kenya launched the Democratic Action Party. That party is going to work with ODM. You go to Meru, there are small parties which are going to work. But at the coastal region, I don't think Raila is going to allow that to happen. Maybe Kingi will be allowed back into the party, I don't know. And number 4, why he's happy, is that if Kingi had pushed on, one thing was going to happen. His party was going to gain ground and he was going to be eligible for negotiations. So Raila would reach him, then he would put his demand from a strong perspective. But what has now happened is that Amason Kingi, if there were to be any negotiations, he will come to the table from weak point because he's already surrendered. So if you want to negotiate and you've already surrendered, then it means you are starting from your weak point. And that's working to the advantage of Raila Odinga. And lastly, Amason Kingi's move now will give Raila Odinga the opportunity to have him, to make Kingi, for example, just to massage his ego, for example, and making the guy in charge of his campaigns at the coastal region. Because Joho, in my view, is going to help Raila Odinga campaigns at the national level. So in the coastal region, with Kingi on board, it means Kingi can be easily made, but he will be told, just use your party, but presidential, strictly Raila Odinga, you are the kingpin, maybe not for the entire coastal region, but maybe Mijikenda. I don't know what you think, but I think Kingi has lost it now. He has lost it. That's how politics is. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.